Okay, I'm going to quickly talk about two more, and then we'll open up for questions. We're doing good. Second to last one is diabetes. Diabetes type 2 is about 98% of the diabetic population is type 2 diabetes. 98% of the diabetic population is type 2. We learned in 1957 that we could prevent and cure type 2 diabetes in laboratory animals, pet animals, and farm animals. Very simple nutritional deficiency disease. It's not genetic. That's one of the things that got me upset when I was in veterinary school, that we could eliminate this in animals and nobody's paying attention to humans. Well, this lay dormant for 20 years in humans until 1977. There was an Indian guy come over from New Delhi, India, and he wanted to practice medicine here in the United States, and he couldn't understand American sayings and didn't know our history, and they were afraid he was going to make some terrible mistake and kill some patient. So they said, we'll license you, but you have to work in an institution for 5 years under supervision before we let you become a practitioner with people out there by yourself. And he was given the post of a clinical doctor in a coma unit in Boston, at Boston University there in Boston, Massachusetts. And he's a very sharp guy. And so he's sitting there reading through charts all the time because these people all have comas. You know, you can't have a conversation with the patients. So he's looking at the records, and it didn't take him long, and he noticed that everybody who survived a head injury or a stroke, if they survived 90 days, if they lived 3 months in that coma center, they all, 100% of them, developed type 2 diabetes. And he said it must be something missing in the IVs, or there was something in the IVs causing it. And back then he had to go through the records manually because there was no computers back then in the 70s, at least not like we have now. And so he ran into this stuff that was done in animals 20 years earlier. So he took those trace minerals. There were two trace minerals and 23 cofactors in the diets of the animals, and he put them in the IVs, and in 3 days, 100% of them were cured of their diabetes. He said, can that be right? So he takes those two trace minerals and the 23 cofactors out of their IVs. Within a week or two, their diabetes comes back, puts it back in, goes away in 3 days. He writes it up in the New England Journal of Medicine. Everybody says, oh, that's very interesting. And nobody did anything with it. I'm the only guy in America that uses it. We made it into a little oral thing so we can support and promote healthy metabolism. We can support and promote healthy blood sugar levels. And the odds are you won't go blind. And the odds are you won't have to have your feet cut off. And the odds are you won't lose 20 years of your life. Kind of interesting, isn't it? A little nutritional formula. Support and promote healthy blood levels of sugar. This just came out in June of 2008. Diabetes cases in the U.S. increased by 3 million. The number of Americans who have diabetes has increased to 24 million. 24 million people in America have, it's almost 10%. If you take the ones who have, oh, I have borderline diabetes. Oh, diabetes is like pregnancy. Either you is or you ain't. This borderline, you know, people, I don't want to admit I have diabetes, so I have borderline diabetes. If you take the borderline diabetes, it is 10%.